فإن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله الله بالهدى ودين الحق يظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. وصلى الله تعالى على خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. وقال سبحانه وتعالى في الكتاب الكريم بعد أعوذ من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين اتقوا الله قولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Ready our praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord, the cherisher, the sustainer of the world, the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from evil of our deeds and our actions, and whomsoever Allah guides, no one can misguide him, and whomsoever He leads astray, no one can guide him. We bear witness that there is no God, no deity, worthy of being worshipped except Allah alone, bearing no partners. We bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the final slave, the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Very good speech, the book of Allah, this guide is the guide to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the worst matter in creed are those that innovate. Very such innovative matter is bid'ah. Maybe that is guidance, and misguidance deserves a blazing fire. We want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the fact that we are Muslims, for the fact that we're here on an auspicious day of Jum'ah, under this beautiful masajid. We thank Allah for the glories and ni'mas given to us. Never take that for granted. Because the minute you don't thank Allah, you can easily snatch that away from you and you will miss out everything that He's given to you, all the ni'mas He's given to you, the ni'mas. Today's khutbah is regards to Surah Al-Fajr and the reward behind Surah Al-Fajr, as well as, inshallah, 10 ways to wake up for the Fajr Salah, inshallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر والليل إذا يسر هل في ذلك قسم لذي هجر ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد وفرعون بالأوتاد الذين طغوا في البلاد فاكثروا فيها الفساد فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب إن ربك لبالمرصاد فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما وتحبون المال حبا جما كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. So this beautiful surah, Surah Al-Fajr, it's really one of the powerful surah that we sometimes forget of how magnificent these surahs are. So this surah itself, Allah starts off by swearing and says by dawn. And by the 10 nights, some say it could be the last 10 nights of Ramadan, some say it's 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. By the evenly odds of all creations, by the night when He departs, there is indeed in these oaths sufficient proofs for men of understanding. say, oh, saw you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not how your Lord dealt with Al-Ad, or Iran, who were very tall, like lofty pillars, the like which were not created in the land. With Thamud, the people, who hewed out rocks in the valley to make dwellings, and with Fir'aun, who had stakes to torture men with, who did transgress beyond bounds in the land, and made therein much mischief. So your Lord poured on them different kinds of severe torment. Verily your Lord is ever watchful. As for men, when his Lord tries him by giving him honor and bounties, then he says that my Lord has honored me. But when he is tried with straining of his means of life, he says, my Lord has humiliated me. Nay, but you treat not the orphans with kindness and generosity, nor give them their exact right of inheritance, and urge not one another on the feeding of masakin. And you devour inheritance with all good, and you love wealth with much love. Nay, with the earth is ground powder. Your Lord comes with the angels in rolls, and hell will be brought near that day. On that day will man remember, but what will they remember when I call them on this day? He will say, alas, for that I have sent forth my good deeds for my life. So on that day, none will punish as he will punish, and none will bind as he will bind. And it will be said to the believers, O you, the one in complete rest and satisfaction, come back to your Lord, well pleased and well pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Enter you then among my servants, and enter you in my paradise. So in this particular surah, subhanAllah, it talks about certain aspects of the reality of the people. See, when you want to show kids something, you got to illustrate what it is. Sometimes when you're saying certain things, you don't illustrate what it is, then you can't understand what it is. Allah is trying to comprehend with the Bedouins of the time, that if you want to know what your deen is all about, then look at the things I'm swearing by. Look at the things that are about the night and the day and everything else. So this particular surah starts with al-Fajr. He starts with al-Qasam, where he swears by Allah. Allah swears by the night, by the morning, the dawn. He swears by this, and every time when something is sworn by something, that it gives a significant role that it plays. So this period was a time in which, when it was revealed in Mecca that the Muslims were being persecuted, the new converts that were accepting Islam, they already knew they were being persecuted left and right. So Allah wanted to set down the foundation for these people, the basis, and warn these people that were persecuting Muslims that you will be your treatment, your end will be the same as those of Ad, Thamud, and Fir'aun. So this particular subject, this theme itself, it talks about the affirmation of the accountability that you have. So whatever you do in this life, you'll be rewarded for. And whatever you've done in this life that's bad, you'll also get punished for it as well in the next life. And this is because the Meccan at the time, they didn't have any acknowledgement. They didn't understand what's there at stake when they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first of all starts off by swearing by 4 things. By the dawn, the 10 nights, the odd, the even and the odd, and the departing night. So all these things are saying what? It's telling these people that these are things that exist on a regular basis. When you sleep at night, you know that the dawn is coming, the next day is coming. When the time lapses, you know that it's coming, so it's one after the other. When the day is out, the moon comes in. So it's a reminder for ourselves that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a systematic order like this of the universe and everything that exists, you don't think He has a system in order in place for you in the Day of Judgment as well? So Allah is reminding these people, He's speaking to them on their own level, that all these things that you see, all the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they all exist for a certain reason. And the same way, my system that we have in the Day of Judgment will be the same as well. And then He tries to reason with them of their own history. So He reminds them of the people of Ad, what happened to these people, Thamud, Fir'aun, and all these examples, that these people transgressed in the face of the earth, and Allah put them down under the ground and destroyed them like the previous nations. So all these things that happened to these people, and you as just a simple tribe, a Meccan tribe, you can easily be destroyed the same way as well. So He reminds them that there's accountability to what you do, what action that's going to be taken as well. And it shows you that the system Allah has is not a system that you see that is based on deaf and blind forces, or on a force that's lawless, that's weak, that's no justice, but rather on a wise ruler that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He demands this wisdom, He demands this justice that it gives to people. So and after all these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds people of the moral state of human society. So He brings out, the greatness of the earth, of the greatness of the planets and everything else. Then He goes and He reminds the people that if you don't follow, this is what's going to happen to you, like these previous people. Then He goes back, He goes even more in more details. He he approaches people in general. Human beings have this tendency where they have a sense of love for this dunya. That's just how we are. We're materialistic. We love things. We want to buy more things. And it's not enough. So that's one thing to love the dunya itself, but Allah is referring to even more of a lower base. That these people not only love the dunya, but they love to take the inheritance of the orphans as well. Right? And they do fraudulent things so that these kids cannot claim what is theirs. So Allah is telling them to be watchful of these things. You will be held accountable of these things. Don't think you'll do the action you've done that you'll get away with it. But rather you will be accountable on the day of judgment as well. And the discourse of these things that it includes, it reminds us that on this particular day that no action that we do will not be left unattended. We will all be facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will all be held accountable for the action that we do as well. But his regrets, so on that day will come, you will regret what you've done, what you've left behind, or what you've set forward in your life. If you haven't planned it out yet, and you don't know what's happening, then you're going to be in a state of loss when this time comes. So be rest assured that Allah, the day of judgment is inevitable. Rest assured that the day of judgment is inevitable. That the knowledge is haqq, right? And the Jannah is haqq. And all this in Yawm al-Qiyamah is haqq. All these things are the truth. And if Allah promised it, it was going to come to pass. So Allah subhanahu reminds us in another verse of the Quran, He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوا الزَّكَاةَ لَهُمْ أَجْرٌ عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. That very those who believe and does righteous good deeds, and they establish their prayers. They give their zakah, right? And for them is a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There will be no fear unto them, nor will they grieve. So Allah is reminding us here that the dunya we're living in here is all at time, all at place. So I'm going to kind of go off base here. The reason I bought Surah Al-Fajr for a reason. I thought the Fajr is something that I find is kind of it's a break of something. So the word Fajr here, it means literally from the break of the night to the daytime. So that break itself, there's a lapse. So we have to do the same thing within ourselves. We have to break that thing within ourselves that we have to, incumbent ourselves to pray our salah in our Fajr. So inshallah, to understand what Allah is swearing by, which is the dawn time, the time of prayer, we have to understand what is the value of it. Sometimes when we don't understand the value of certain things, we don't want to do it, right? But when we know the value of it, then we start to kind of focus on these things as well. So in the hadith of the Prophet, he mentioned the beauty of Salat al-Fajr and what's important in these things. I know most of us here are probably in good shape. We take times to work on our bodily functions. We work out really hard. We want to be the best we can be. But then the time comes further, unfortunately, we become the weakest of people, right? And we know the story and how Shaitan has all these knots tied down upon us. We know all that stuff, right? But when it comes to this time, and no matter how strong we are, we can't lift that 5-pound blanket. We just can't get out, right? So I'm linking it together. How can I make this Fajr that Allah is swearing by something that's going to, implement my life, it's going to affect my life? What is that? So the Prophet, Allah mentioned in the hadith, in regards to this particular salah, the importance of Salat al-Fajr. He says, Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-bardain dakhal al-jannah. He said, he who observes al-bardain. What is al-bardain? He said the two prayers, the Fajr and the Asr, enters Jannah. SubhanAllah. Is that easy? So if I focus on Fajr prayer and I focus on Asr, I will enter Jannah. That's what Allah is saying. SubhanAllah. So why is it difficult? Why is it that in the morning, the masajid does not feel like this in Jumu'ah? I could make an excuse, we all live in different areas, mashallah, we get it. But why isn't it that, in your masajid, the maximum amount of people you have does not fill up? What's the point of that? What's happening? Why is it in this case? What's the scenario behind this? Right? So maybe we don't understand. Many hadith, they talk about, if you understood the reward you would get in Fajr, you will go to the masjid probably if you had to. Right? So this is the beauty of it. Another hadith he mentioned, he says, سمعت الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول لا يجعل النار أحد صلى قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل غروبها. That the Messenger of Allah mentioned, he said that he who performs salah prayers before the rising of the sun and before its setting will not enter hellfire. Again, he's guaranteeing us. If you pray just your Asr, you pray your Fajr, you're saved. That's it. It's not even asking much from us. And that's so hard for us to do. I mean, it's amazing. I'm speaking for all of us, including myself. Why is it difficult? Why? Is it because the reality hasn't really kicked in? We didn't really get the concept of it? Or what is it that we're missing? In another verse, he says, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى الصبح فهو في ذمة الله فانظر يا ابن آدم لا يتبعنك الله من دمه. He said that Jundub bin Sufyan, reported Mr. Blushman said that he who offers the dawn prayer will come under the protection of Allah. O son of Adam, beware lest the son, that Allah should call you to account in respect of His protection. So Allah is guaranteeing you that if you come to my salah, I'm going to protect you. I've got your back. We don't want that. I mean, in the time that we're living in right now, Allah is the most insecure time. So if Allah does not have your back, then who's got your back? So this is the time Allah is guaranteeing you that if you come for Fajr prayer and Asr, I've got your back. I'll take care of you. I'll protect you from anything, any harm that's coming your way. SubhanAllah. We hope for barakah, we wish barakah, we wish for this, we want all these things, but yet we can't do the two sunnah before Fajr, because that's where the risk lies. We can't do that. If we look at the nature that Allah has created, He gives us always signs of nature to look at. All the animals, they wake up in the morning, they do tasbihat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they're praising constantly to Allah before they go out and search for the risk. Here we are waking up in the morning, we're getting ready for Fajr, but yet we pray a little later, so we get ready for our work time, so we pray our Fajr around our work time to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then we can't get off. We lose the barakah of the day, we lose everything. SubhanAllah. In another hadith, it states that if you miss Asr prayer, it's as if you lost the entire world, whatever it contained. How valuable are these prayers? I'm just saying the salah itself. I'm not even saying with the congregation, if you were to go in a congregation, how much reward you get out of that. That's even beyond our comprehension. And another beautiful verse he says, hadith, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يتعاقبون فيكم ملائكة الليل وملائكة النهار ويجتمعون في صلاة الصبح وصلاة العصر ثم يعرج الذين باتوا فيكم فيسألهم الله وهو أعلم بهم كيف تركتم عبادي فيقولون تركناهم وهم يصلون وأتيناهم يصلون. It's a beautiful hadith. They said the shifting, how you go to the doctor's office. You have the nurse, they shift from 8 o'clock, you have a different shift, different gears. So the angels shift as well too. So they shift during the Fajr time and they shift during the Asr time. So if you pray during Fajr, they write it down and they go back to Allah. And they come back again, the guy who changes shift, he writes it down, they get you all. So he goes back, Allah asks him, the angel, what was my servant doing? He already knows. He wanted to glorify that person. So he would ask the angel, what is my servant doing when you left him? Oh, he was praying. And when you went back to him, what was he doing? He was still praying. SubhanAllah. That is, you're being mentioned in the angels, one of the angels, the majmu' of, mashallah, the honorable ones. Forget about what we have here in this world, but you're being mentioned in the kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you, a simple hadith, it reminds us as well, just kind of get that urge to kind of go back. If you pray your Isha, inshallah, with Jama'ah, and then you pray your Fajr, it's as if you stand it the whole night. Qiyam al-Layl every night, inshallah. Don't you want that? You're getting free rewards. Allah has given it to you. All you have to do is go to the masajid, pray with the Imam al-Saleen, you get out of your way, you go Fajr, that's it, you get the whole nice reward. You can't even do it in a lifetime. So these are things that Allah will allow us to acquire these things. But inshallah, we'll discuss ways and how we can get there. All of us to make it a habit that we want some masajid filled on our daily basis. Many shuyukh, they mentioned that if you want to condition the ummah to change, then all of you will show up for Salat al-Fajr. Then you will see the condition of the ummah. I don't think we're at that level. And that speaks for all of us too. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who understand our deen, understand this Surah Fajr, so that we can implement the beauty of it itself and to replicate it inshallah in our lifetime as well. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So I want to make it a productive khutbah, inshallah. Productive in a way that we can get something out of this, that we can all do this. In Ramadan, inshallah, I've probably seen all your faces every single day in the masajid, inshallah, for Tarawih and even Fajr. It's just packed. Easy. How do we do it? Inshallah, we get the brotherly love and we want to see each other. Create that same environment as well. So I'm going to try to, inshallah, touch base with 10 points. If we can do these 10 points, inshallah, hopefully, by the tawfiq, inshallah, that you're able to come to Fajr on a daily basis. Number 1, if you want to wake up for Fajr, it's simple. There's no rocket science recipe. Go to sleep early. We think, I'm the strongest guy. I'm going to go to sleep at 4 o'clock. I'm going to wake up for Fajr at 5 o'clock. I can do it. No, you're fooling yourself. That's the worst recipe whatsoever. Fajr. Waking up when we want to sleep very late and trying to wake up on time. It's not going to happen. You might be able to do 1 day, 2 days, maybe, if that's possible, but that's not it. So first thing, go to sleep on time. The sunnah of the Prophet when he would pray Isha, he would go home, do his sunnah over there at home as well, go to sleep. Wake up for Qiyam and he would start his day. That's how he did it. Us, our excuse is the other one. What we do is, we want to go to Isha as fast as possible so we can go home and watch what we're going to do. Relax and we just want to chill, and then Fajr time comes, we'll skip Fajr and inshallah make it on our way to work. And we reverse the cycle here. Number 2, before going to sleep, make the niyyah. Simple. Ya Allah, please wake me up Fajr. No Muslim, no mu'min in their mind or their soul will want to miss Fajr on purpose. That's not of you. You don't want to do that. So you want to actually make the intention to make it to Fajr. Ya Allah, I want to make it to Fajr. Please help me. Allah will help you if you're sincere about it. Alright? That's number 2. Number 3, learn about the reward of Fajr. What do you get out of Fajr? Where is the risk? Where does the risk stand right now? Why does all these birds that you see, all these animals, the whale and everything else, why are they being, sustained by Allah? And how are they being sustained by Allah? Because they're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the morning time. So learn all the benefits, the fara'id, the fadaa'id, all these things, inshallah, of all the good things about Fajr that will encourage you, inshallah, to attain the Fajr prayer. The fourth thing is to set your alarm clock. Simple. I know we're making something that's hard. Set your alarm clock, but not next to you. Put it far away on the other side of the room, the loudest you can possibly put it, where you have to actually get up and turn it off. Right? Not the snooze button here in your house. You're snoozing it, inshallah, I'm going to do this. And then you snooze all the way through. That's what Shaitan wants. So put it, I have subhanAllah, maybe 4 or 5 alarms. It's so annoying, but it's just how it goes. You want to get so annoyed so you can get up. Ignore yourself to the point where, okay, you know what, I'm dead, I'm going to go up. But that's what you want to do, set that alarm up. In each room you have, set it off. Inshallah, Fajr time. The 5th thing, perform your sunnah before you go to sleep. Do your tasbihat, do your Quran recitation, do all these things that you're doing in the most of ibadat that Allah will with you as divine will as well. So you're in that state you're in the state of devotion, you're in the state of getting ready for Allah to begin with. So Allah will get you ready for that as well, inshallah. Number 6, know that Fajr is obligatory. It's not sunnah. It's not sunnah aqidah, it's not, it's wajib. We have to do this. If we don't do this, we're not fulfilling the fara'id of our deen. SubhanAllah. We're taking it too light, brothers, and myself included. It's just too light. This is our deen. We have to pray 5 times a day on time. And the best salah is salah on time, not the salah after, mashallah, shuruq is over, we're praying duha or fajr and so forth. We have to pray it when it's time as well. So it's mandated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not sunnah. It's mandated, it's wajib for us to do this. 7th thing is be mindful of death. The dua that we make before we go to sleep is, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, mutu ahya, the beginning part. But we say to Allah that we die in the name of Allah, and we did in the name of Allah. So when we wake up, we say we're actually facing death. We're waking up, we're asking Allah to thank you for waking me up from our death. So remind ourselves that maybe you won't make it to the next Fajr. Who knows? You make it for Isha, you won't make it for Fajr. So make your salah, every salah, your last salah. Because if you die in the state of missing salah, that's probably the worst way you can go out. If you die during salah, mashallah, that's probably the best way. But if you die missing these salah on purpose, then subhanAllah, we have some accountability before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Number 8 thing on the list is to be strong-willed. Motivate yourself. Be strong-willed, that you can do it. Make it to the point where, no matter what happens, you have to beat your own nuts, your own desire. Shaitan. All these things, you have to do it. Be strong-willed, and then when it comes to promising yourself that I'm going to do this, I'm going to make myself better inshallah by doing this. SubhanAllah, I'm not sure about you guys, but I know for a fact for myself, if I miss Fajr, that whole day is ruined. Nothing ever plans out right. I want to do this, it's all wrong, it's always wrong. And I blame myself, it's because I know I didn't pray Fajr on time, that's probably why. But that's this reality. If you start today off right, then everything will go right, inshallah as well. The 9th thing is, make a support group. Call up a friend. Assalamualikum, you're going to go with me? Let's go. It's carpool, let's do something. So You make it a habit where you're interacting with each other. Have your family member wake you up, or somebody wake you up, or something. So you're having this group session where you're challenging each other for the good of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And last but not least, seek help from those who are doing it, are regular. You know this guy's a regular? Ask him, dude, what's your secret? Tell me, what do you do? It's okay. He'll tell you, all I do is this, simple stuff. I drink milk, it helps me wake up fresh, or whatever, banana, whatever it is. Whatever his secret is, it might work for him, it might work for you, who knows? But at least seek those guys because they're sincere in their heart. That's why they're there. Many years, you go back to the masjid after you left them, go back, you still see them there. SubhanAllah. It shows you how much commitment they are in their deen. And it shows us here that we have to remind ourselves that we also have to go back in the same way as well. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make some of those who understand Fajr the way it should be understood, and to accept it for what it is, and to take it on a serious note, more so than a notion where we're just passing through the time and our ibadah becomes a form of just, a passing time. We ask Allah to give us the tawfiq to practice these a'mal, inshallah. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم إنك مجيد ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر وترحمنا لنكون من الخاسرين ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرارا كما حملته على الذين قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة به واعف عنا واغفر وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين إن الله يعمل ولا يحسن وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون.